Aloha Planet Citizens, welcome to EcoVentures Studio. I'm here with Simona and she's going to talk to us about ManaHealing, CBD oils and treatments. Stay tuned. Aloha. Aloha Planet Citizens, this is Cindie. Welcome to EcoVentures Media Studio here in Pupukea. Today we're talking about natural healing, and Simona is here. Simona, what's your last name?
Fossati.
Nice. Fossati. She's a beautiful Italian woman, and her company is ManaHealing. She was inspired by stories of people who had survived cancer or had other health issues by the use of CBD and other natural products. So she's sharing with us today her products and why CBD is helpful. Maybe it's not helpful for all people. I've talked to some people who said, you know, that didn't do anything for me. But there are millions and millions of people who are being helped by CBD every day. And more, you'll see it more and more in stores. You see it everywhere. So what is this story, Simona, with CBD?
Okay, so first of all, a little science. I'm not a scientist at all, but what is important to mention is like it works in different ways for every one of us because of our endocannabinoid system.
Okay, so our endocannabinoid system is within our body. Now later in this YouTube video, I will be showing that whole human endocrinoid system, and I will pronounce it correctly then. But I'll show it to you, and that way you can have a better understanding. My understanding is that our endocrinoid system is the base of our nervous system, and when our nervous system can be put back at homeostasis, which is really complete balance, where your body wants to be, then your vitamins can absorb better. The vitamins in your food can absorb better. If you're taking supplements, they can absorb better. So it's a way for your system to come back to a very natural and like a homeostasis place, which means like really central and balanced, for people to be able to overcome like inflammation, for example. There's people who have chronic inflammation diseases, and when your nervous system is so stressed and your cortisol, which is the stress hormone in your brain, when that is high, that really, it affects the way that you can think. There's science that shows that it brings your thought process and your ability to do executive functioning, it brings it down. And so this use of product, which you'll explain to us, can help people with high inflammation get their body back to a state of health. It may mean changing other things in your diet. Like if you're eating a lot of processed foods and things like that, that can cause inflammation in your body. Everybody's different. So let's find out. Like, tell us about ManaHealing.
Okay, so I started officially about 1.5 years ago. A little before that, unofficially, just doing it for friends. So we go back a little bit to 2006, when my father passed in 3 months for lung cancer. It was mesothelioma. Back then, especially in Europe, in Italy, there was nothing like this.
Okay.
And a couple of years ago, a very close friend of mine discovered to have cancer. And he's a local Hawaiian person, and he believes in la'au lapa'au, the herbal Hawaiian medicinal plants.
Okay, so la'au lapa'au, we've spoken in previous episodes on EcoVentures about the ahupua'a. That's the land management system that the ancient Hawaiians used, but the ancient Hawaiians and Hawaiians today, and people who live in Hawaii and other indigenous peoples all around the world, really have a connection to nature, and they believe in a more holistic way of health and healing. And so what was it again?
So I do.
Say it again one more time.
La'au lapa'au.
La'au lapa'au. So that is like healing through plants, natural based.
Yes, totally natural.
And there's also a spiritual connection to
that. Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I was taking already CBD myself. It was very at the beginning stage, not many people were
Aware of it.
informed or aware of it. So I was at the beginning, I was still experimenting on my own self, how it would have made me feel. And I'm not a THC person, and I don't do good with it. And instead, the CBD does really good to me. Just like waking up to a foggy morning from the volcano. It sometimes throws myself out of balance because it causes inflammation into my body and then into my mind.
Okay.
And taking CBD was like just clearing the fog. Like my mind all of a sudden would have been like balanced and clear, and I was able to focus again.
So
and feeling better physically as well, because that's the inflammation when it's inside. It puts everything out of balance, like mind, spirit, soul, like the body, physical, and everything. So it was just amazing. And when I discovered that, I started making little lotions, just out of what I had in my house. And I always have cocoa butter and shea butter because it's like in coconut oil, because it's what I use on my skin pretty much. So I started experimenting. I started actually going completely natural, like about 8 years ago when I moved to Hawaii, when I discovered yoga and my higher self, and I started opening my connection with myself. And all of a sudden I became allergic to everything that was like harsh chemicals, soaps, and everything like that you can go to.
So your body was saying, I've had enough, I need to detoxify from these things that are happening.
Yeah.
But at least you're aware of it. Some people, they don't become aware of like, what is this? What is this? If you're having issues or allergy issues, one of the first things you can do is try and eliminate the non-natural things in your life. And one thing that I've discovered that a lot of people are not aware of, we live in Hawaii and it's very, very expensive here. And so we're frugal. You have to be frugal or you're not going to make it unless you're a billionaire. And I don't know many billionaires right now. So most of the billionaires I know, they live in Florida. So, right here. Okay, so, but one cleaning element that you can do, it's very, very wet up here. We're in a rainforest and it's very wet. And in fact, I have to use dehumidifier bags, and it's like there's this much water in the bag after 2 days. There's lots of moisture. So if you're allergic to molds of any kind, one thing that you can do is you just take vinegar and water. Vinegar is very, very inexpensive. You get a bottle like this, it's like $5, even in Hawaii, and so it's probably only $2 for you in the mainland. You just use a little bit of the vinegar and you use a lot of water, and you can just wipe down anything. It's a beautiful cleaner. I think that's what the base of Windex is, but then they add other chemicals and other scents. Yeah. So if you're highly allergic or you feel like there's things in your environment you want to change, one thing you could do is just don't use expensive cleaners or like cleaners that have chemicals in them, and just try using vinegar and water, and that might change just your environment. So it's experimenting with small changes to realize what the difference in your body might be.
Yeah, totally. And it's from small steps, that we start with, and it's amazing. Yeah, and my skin started reacting to everything: deodorants, dish soap, and shampoo, and everything. And I was already like.
So you were just like an itchy, scratchy, uncomfortable person.
Yes.
That's horrible.
And it lasted a few months, and then when I saw the naturopathic doctor, and she said like, my diet was already like fully organic and plant-based, so the food was not the problem, and I cut off and started making my own things, like my own soap, or like you said, like home cleaner, and with essential oils, and I got into that, and I studied and became certified in aromatherapy.
Nice.
So having a lot of fun mixing essential oils and stuff. And then what happened to discover this close friend of mine was going through cancer, and he's a Hawaiian person, so with the connection and the spiritual part of Hawaii culture, it was like, I'm not gonna go into like chemotherapy, radiotherapy, nothing that will, because it heals you for one part, but then it kills other part, and it creates more issues in other part of your body. So he said like, I'm just gonna go completely natural. So he started with Chinese medicine, acupuncture, of course, nutrition. He completely changed
It always
his
comes
diet.
back to nutrition from everybody I've talked to.
I believe that we have two brains.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, there's new science. In fact, I picked up a there's a magazine I picked up in an airport just last week, and it says that, you know, the gut is the second brain.
Totally.
And so that's why they're really talking about what goes on in all of the chemistry that goes on in your gut is actually really in tune with all of the neural pathways and the neural connectors in your brain. And so that's why they're saying, if you're having brain fog, if you're having this, you know, don't eat carbs, eat this. Now, everybody's different. You know, I'm a high carb person.
I'm Italian.
I'm a high carb person.
I
I'm
love
carb
it.
and cheese, and, you know, but hey, I'm not huge on certain other things. I don't eat a lot of sugars. I don't eat a lot of, so everybody has their different rhythm they have to get to.
Also, so. Yeah.
So with your ManaHealing products, like since you're now certified with aromatherapy, what is your line? Like, how broad is your line? Do you have lotions that make pain go away?
Yes, I have skincare, like topical.
Okay.
And I make supplements. And the supplements are really cool. And actually, like, I have one product that is the best seller because I blend only the CBD, which I source organically. Like, I make sure that it's pesticides free and there is no toxic in it in any way. And I blend it with MCT from coconut oil from coconut, which is organic as well. And and
those are the good fats.
Yeah,
those are the good fats. So if you go back,
Yeah.
EcoVentures had this Back to Nature interview with Travis Smith, and he's one of the founders of the Sunrise Coffee, right? And they put in, it's a 40-minute interview. Please listen to it. It's a great show. And there's other people on there. But he really went in depth with the importance of grass-fed butter and how the grass-fed butter actually lubricates your brain like oil lubricates a car. And if you're doing non-grass-fed butters or like industrialized dairy products, then those are actually dehydrating your brain. And they have found that it's like cholesterol for your heart. It's cholesterol, like plaque building in your brain. And that is one of the things, if you really read about medical research, that they're finding that that's sort of what they believe is causing Alzheimer's, is this congestion. And so if you are eating grass-fed butter, like I never would have invested in that before I knew this, but now that I know that, I thought, you know, I want to lubricate my brain because I'm 51 years old. I'm 51 years old. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm going to live until I'm 110, and I'm going to be having happy birthday when I'm 90. So, like, I'm not ashamed of my age. Proud of my age. But at this age, though, I'm just realizing from a 25-year-old who was an amazing interview person, just through wondering about his coffee, just from seeing his shop that had, glass bottles with turmeric, and you can bring the bottles back. So it's like I was interviewing him because of the recycle, like the conscious end of it. There's no plastics. That kind of forward thinking of my health and realizing I can save my brain health if I invest a little more in just grass-fed butter. That was a game changer for me. So it's these types of sharings that EcoVentures is interested in, because again, what we do, I believe everything's connected, and it is. And
totally.
Yeah, I love Einstein. He thought that too. Yeah. And Einstein also said, look deep into nature and everything will make sense. And
totally.
It's kind of the thing. I love that man. He was kind of goofy, but he was really smart. So anyway, so back to it. If we know that there are things that are coming out now and we can stay informed, and even though it's a little more expensive on one end, I'm sure it's much less expensive than, there's so many different levels, like socially and emotionally and physically, of what that would be if your brain were deteriorating, right? Yeah. So, okay, so what else do you have in your line?
Okay, well, now you gave me many different
ideas. Okay.
Yes, ideas of things that I really want to share with you and with you guys, because they're like very foundations for me for creating this business, like the recycling part. Like I only use glass.
Okay, is this a sample of one of your things?
Yes.
Okay, so
and
this is a glass container.
This is a gift for Cindie. For
Thank
having
you.
me today. Let's
what would I
begin
do
with
with this?
You rub it on. It's the product that I make are completely vegan.
Okay.
And free of pesticides, toxic chemicals. there is no THC,
Okay.
so it doesn't have the psychoactive part
Right,
of
so
the
I'm not going
plants.
to feel high.
No,
I don't want
at
to
all.
feel high. I'm goofy enough
no.
already.
I'm high myself already. I don't need drugs. Thank you. So and there are no preservatives.
Okay.
So
Right now, everyone, I have shingles right now. I have shingles. It's very, very painful.
Yeah.
I've
I
gone
wish
through
I
the
brought
nerve
you my
part.
other one.
No, but
it in my
I'm
purse.
itchy right here.
Yeah.
So if I put this on, is that what I put it on?
Okay, you can. I also have another product that is specific for any skin issue, which I have in my purse. Maybe I'll grab it for you later. But if you have any, you can also use this one. The only difference is like this one has peppermint oil, which is like really nice to give you that
It
icy
smells
hot
beautiful.
effect. Yeah, I know. It's the cocoa butter. It kind of smells like a peppermint patty. Like it makes you want to.
It makes you want to eat it.
Actually, you can, because everything is so natural and organic. Because in Africa they cook with shea butter, and the shea butter comes from Ghana.
Wow.
I have a friend here that he's a Ghanese guy, and I don't know if you say that. Like he's from Ghana. Anyway.
yeah.
Okay, he's from Ghana, and every time, I lost my pork and guinea. And every time he goes to Ghana, he brings back gourds of shea butter,
Oh, great.
and I buy it from him.
That's great.
I buy from him, so we help, like also like.
You're a global economy. You're helping
Yes,
the global
totally,
economy.
totally. Yeah. So the shea butter is completely natural, comes in a gourd from Ghana, and they cook with it, so you can definitely eat it.
I don't want to eat it though.
No,
I
of
want to
course.
put it on my skin.
No, it's better, but yeah, my grandma used to say, don't put on your skin what you cannot put in your mouth.
Right. And that makes sense. That makes a lot of
The
sense.
cocoa butter, it's organic as well. This is our base. This is my base that I use for most of the topicals. So cocoa butter, shea butter, and coconut oil. I blend different herbs like St. John's wort, which is like
St.
really
John's wort.
St. John's wort, which is like an amazing plant as well, because it helps with, if you take it as a supplement, it helps with depression,
Yeah,
anxiety.
anti-depression,
Yeah,
anti-anxiety.
it's really nice for PMS syndromes, but if you rub it on, helps with relieving inflammation and pain.
Oh, okay. So if I were to be having menstrual cramps, for example,
That's
I would
awesome.
take this and I would rub it
Massage
on
it.
wherever the pain is.
Yeah.
So some people get pain in
Massage.
their back, like
Yeah.
their lower back.
Yeah.
So you just rub it on.
Yeah, wherever you might have like even just like I don't know, like a
Tension?
Yeah, tension in your neck, tension in your shoulder, like a little inflammation, real pain, whatever you have, you just like massage
Put it on the spot of
Yeah.
the pain.
What is great about topicals? They work locally on that area that you're treating,
Okay.
and they're really immediate. Like in 10 minutes maximum, you will feel relief already.
Oh, that's amazing.
Of course.
Okay, wait. This is Pain Relief 100.
Okay, a 100 stands for 100 milligrams
Okay.
of CBD that is in there.
Okay.
I would say it's for minor aches.
Okay.
And pain. I have a formula that is a higher strength, is 500 milligrams. And that is more for chronic pain.
Okay.
Like, we work with farmers. I work with veterans that have cancer, and lots of people.
So
that
it's,
have
so your more
problems. So
in-depth
it's
pain is going to be your what's it called?
500. Yeah,
Okay.
pain relief 500.
Pain relief 500.
What I was saying is beautiful because they really act really fast. So their relief actually lasts about 3 to 4 hours. And what makes it great is like it's so natural that you can rub it on every 3
And it's
hours.
okay. That's
And
right.
it's gonna be okay. It's not,
And-
unless you are allergic to peppermint oil, and that's something
Right,
that
that's
I
different.
cannot do anything about.
No, but I'm sure they can make a special order.
we do.
Ibuprofen.
I do.
So for those of you who you may or may not know this about ibuprofen, and I'm going to share this because I think it's a very important health issue.
I agree.
When I was 24, I had very bad nerve damage, and so on my left side, and my whole left side of my back atrophied, like it was all sunken in, and they couldn't figure out what it was. That you can read about that in my book that's coming out. But basically,
Can't wait.
it was major nerve pain, and I had it for 20 years. I had to transcend the pain because after 3 years of dealing with it, they had me on, this was back in the day of Vicodin. So they had me on Vicodin, and they had me on the maximum that you can do of ibuprofen. Ibuprofen is it's a blood thinner, but it's also an anti-inflammatory. So they had me on the most. Well, the Vicodin wasn't doing anything, and I, being rather conservative, said to my doctor, you know, hey, I don't want to take this if, like, it could be addictive. Like, it's like, why would we have to test my liver? Like, I don't want my insides, you know, to get rotted out.
Yeah, of course.
So anyway, so he said, okay, so now I'm just dealing it with the ibuprofen. This had been going on for maybe a year and a half now, like just so long. So I was very athletic. I surfed, I hiked, I swam, I biked, I did everything, and I was at a dead stop of just pain 24 hours a day. That was it. But I still was working because I had to work. Like, it was just a really difficult thing.
Okay.
So to get my physical, I would move my furniture around in my house once in a while. So I went into the doctor and I said,
That's awesome.
yeah. I said, hey, Dr. Cal, like, I'm still in major pain. I don't know what's going on, but I can't handle this, and I've got to be able to do something. Well, it was so bad, if I walked up a hill, I'd be fine, but walking down, the compression walking down, it was so bad that if I was up for 5 minutes, I'd be down in excruciating pain for 5 hours. I had my roommates washing my back, like, in the shower. Like, it was just like it was crazy, because for being a very physical person.
Yeah.
Point of the story, I better get to it. So I said to him, I'm moving my furniture around, and he said, what do you mean? Really, like, in a panicked face. And I said, well, I've got to do something. I'm going stir crazy, and I got to do something physical. And I said, well, what about riding a bike? Like, maybe I can just ride the bike, like, just straight and then and walk it back. Like, I've got to do some kind of physical. I felt like I was really, like, not okay, like, in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah,
so
totally.
he said, you can't. And I said, why not? And he said, because you're on so much ibuprofen, and you've been on so much ibuprofen for so long, if you even get a bruise, you will bleed to death internally. Now, I said,
I had no idea.
when were you going to tell me this? Because that's not okay with me. I'm in my 20s. Someday I'm going to want to have a child. Like, clearly, this isn't working. Like, so then I left Hawaii, and I went to the mainland to get some help, and nobody could figure it out, and I figured out how to just transcend pain. I'm not in that pain today, but it sure made handling this shingles better, because it's supposed to wipe you out, and I was like, boy, this is really bad, but, you know, at least I know it's not going to last for 10 years. So that's the story. So if you're on ibuprofen as an anti-inflammatory, I think, number one, it's not a bad thing, but I think you need to be very aware of how much you're taking and how long you're taking it. And, you know, if you're taking the maximum amount, I think I was taking 3,600 milligrams a day.
Wow.
And so if you're on that kind of a regimen, you know, you might want to just talk to your doctor, or you might want to see if something like this that's more natural, that isn't going to hurt your internal organs, or, you know, cause you to have such thin blood that you'll bleed out. That was the scariest thing to hear.
Oh,
because you should see me moving furniture, everybody. I can move a grand piano. So, you know. Okay. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So listen, how much would this be? How much is this if I wanted to have this?
Of the 1 ounce of this small jar, and like I repeat myself, but it's all in glass.
Right.
Also for Hawaiian people that live on Oahu, if they ever want to return their jar,
yes,
we give $2 discount on their next order.
Good. Okay. So you're
I'm
encouraging recycling.
not ready yet to do it with the mainland as well.
Right.
Which
Well, that's a lot of
actually
shipping.
most of my orders come from the mainland, but we'll get there at some point.
Yeah.
For now, we're doing it on the North Shore and on Oahu.
So I turn this back in. I get a $2 credit. But how much would this be?
Okay. Usually the retail price of the 100 milligrams, 1 ounce, is $30.
Oh, that's a wonderful deal.
One of my main thing is like keeping it affordable, because we're talking about
Everybody's
healing,
health.
people's transformation. I'm not gonna make a product that you cannot afford.
Right.
It doesn't.
Or if only the elite can afford it, because that's kind of what's happened with our food, right? We've got people who know how to eat better, and they're eating better because they have the money to eat better.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the money to be able to go get that organic food, and you're living in a food desert, and 7-Eleven is where you can get your food, then that's where you're going to get your food. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment in that at all.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah.
but making it affordable for everyone. I think that when we can heal everyone, when everyone can feel healed, I think that we as a community all rise together with that. And so I think that's wonderful.
In the small jar, in a 1 ounce jar for $30, I make also another lotion that is called Happy Bones.
Happy Bones.
Happy Bones. It makes your bones happy.
So like for people with
arthritis, it targets like fibromyalgia as well. Most of the people that I know that have fibromyalgia issues, they get their bones, like the arthritis. And it works really well for joints. So yeah, that's actually wonderful. The first time I tried it, of course they're not tested on animals,
right?
They're vegan, but they're tested on friends and family and ourselves. So the first time when I came up with Happy Bones, it's a baby for me. I really love it. I tried it with this friend of mine, which is another local guy that was born and raised here. One day he fell from a cliff in Makuleia and he broke everything in his body. And
I'm glad you're alive, friend, if you're watching this episode. Okay.
And he's young and awesome and very stubborn and determined. He's back on his legs like in no time. He has some screws, but the problem that the major issue was his ankle, where he had several screws in it to keep it together. And that foot was like this big, all swollen all the time. And he's another super active person, you know, like surfing and hiking and everything. And he was a little like frustrated about it. And as soon as I came up with this one, I was like, here, try it. In a week, he came back and it was like, for 1.5 years, I had this problem. Nothing would ever work. And your thing worked right away.
Wow.
And I was so stoked. These are like the story that
we should get him on video. I'd love to talk to him.
It makes me so like grateful and like it really fulfills my heart because it's
you're
more
happy.
about like knowing that what I'm doing is like I'm on the right path.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And your energy is wonderful. So Simona, listen. Go ahead.
You know that another important thing that I want to say is like I'm an energy worker, as you know. I'm a Reiki master and crystal therapist, and everything that I make, it's energetically charged. And most of the products actually they also have gemstones inside.
Nice.
Yeah.
So for those of you who aren't aware of energy work, a popular person to connect it to, for me to explain it to you, is Deepak Chopra. So Deepak Chopra has he actually has a movie called Heal that you can watch on Netflix. He's been a doctor for a very long time. He used to be a medical MD. He found a path towards more spiritual healing, and that's where he has gone, and he helps people heal themselves. I've mentioned him in prior episodes because, you know, he has a book that he talks about how we're born with a certain DNA. And like I've had my DNA tested, and I have certain cancer markers, and some of them have been activated, but they can be deactivated by the way that you control the energy in your body.
Yeah.
So that is by reducing the stress, reducing negative thoughts. That's why meditation is a really big part of that, and just lifestyle. So that's when she's talking about energy work, there's an alpha level. And so when you have flowers in your home, when you walk in nature, I've been talking about tree bathing, and it's something that, you know, the Japanese have done for a long time, and it's just really, they know that you get a certain energy and essence and fulfillment that's healthy to be reconnected to nature and to be walking in trees. If you're living in the middle of a neighborhood that is completely filled with cement and you're listening to all kinds of things. I was in Waikiki, I was in the heart of Waikiki, and I've got to tell you the difference between my ability to create when I was in the heart of Waikiki and when I'm up here in the beautiful rainforest. It's very, very different because I would hear people arguing at night. I would be woken up by, you know, prostitutes on the street. I just couldn't believe how much that affected my ability from day to day. So what you're doing is she is a healer who also uses energy, and she takes these crystals and like certain crystals are supposed to give you certain energies, and we can do a whole nother show on that in the future. But really, by infusing that, that's like a whole nother level. There are some people who just pay to go to see energy healers, to just be in their presence, or to like have them make candles or bath soaps that they can use in their home to help them like clear their energy.
Channel, like I don't define myself as a healer, but I like to say that I'm a divine channel.
You're a worker. You're an energy worker. You work with energy. So, Simona, I love your energy. And I met Simona a few years ago. She was working in a shop, and she was telling me she was starting this. And I just had to find her and find out what she was doing. And you have done nothing but shoot up like a rocket. And I think that but I think that is a reflection of that you are on your path. You're living your true life. You are you're sharing your soul with us and through your products. So thank you so much, Simona. So ManaHealingCBD.com. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you. Yeah, go check out on the website, my online. We have other products and skincare and the tinctures like drops and
so there's tinctures, drops, there's sprays, there's ointments, there's capsules. Check it out, Mana Healing. And in the meantime, everybody, be good to you. Whatever you do, take 1 hour a day. If you can take 1 hour a day to be good to you, whatever it is, just for you, not for your spouse, not for your boyfriend, not for your mom, not for your dad, for yourself. You're going to be on the path to healing and feeling a better life no matter what, because everybody deserves an hour for themselves. Aloha and
Aloha.
uiho.